150,000 cars made by Stellantis are sold every year in Canada. And so Canadians know what to do when a company doesn't necessarily have the interest of Canadians at stake. It's completely unacceptable. So we will fight for these jobs.
It started with a single letter, a warning from Ottawa that could shake the foundations of North America's auto industry. A letter so sharp, it carried not just the weight of law, but the echo of betrayal. Because this time, it's not just about cars. It's about power, and about whether the United States just outplayed Canada in its own backyard. On Wednesday morning, Canadians woke up to headlines that felt like déjà vu. Another multinational company walking away, another promise broken. But this time, it wasn't a quiet exit. Ottawa was furious. Industry Minister Mélanie Joly's letter to Stellantis CEO Antonio Filosa didn't mince words. Respect your obligations to Canadians, or we'll take you to court. And those weren't just political threats. They were legal ones. You see, 2 years ago, Stellantis had signed what Ottawa called a historic auto pact. Billions of taxpayer dollars were on the line. Up to $15 billion in performance incentives, designed to keep Canada's manufacturing heart beating strong in Brampton, Ontario. The deal was simple. Canada would help retool Stellantis' facilities for the electric era. In return, Stellantis would maintain its full Canadian footprint, including Brampton, a city whose economy depends on that plant. But this week, everything changed. Stellantis quietly announced a $13 billion U.S. investment, unveiling plans to shift production of the Jeep Compass, one of its core vehicles, from Brampton to Belvidere, Illinois. And that's when Ottawa lost it. Mélanie Joly's letter, later posted on social media, expressed extreme concern and warned that if Stellantis didn't fulfill its commitments, Canada would act in the interest of all Canadians, exercising all options, including legal action. Behind those calm political phrases, insiders say there's panic. Because what just happened might not be a simple business move. It could be a full-blown political chess game, one that stretches from Brampton to Washington, D.C. Sources close to the Prime Minister's office say Mark Carney himself was briefed within hours of the announcement. And reportedly, he was livid. According to one senior official, Carney slammed his desk during a closed-door meeting, saying, "If we can't even keep Stellantis, what message does that send to the world about investing in Canada?" But here's where it gets darker. Stellantis' CEO, Antonio Filosa, told CNBC that the company shares President Trump's vision of a strong U.S. auto sector. Think about that. The CEO of a company that took billions in Canadian incentives, now praising an American president whose policies are actively squeezing Canada's auto exports. Just months ago, Trump imposed a 25% tariff on Canadian automotive parts and vehicles, with one major exception: U.S.-made components. That means companies could save money by shifting production south of the border. And that's exactly what Stellantis is doing. Coincidence? Or coordination? Some Canadian MPs don't think it's coincidence at all. One federal source, speaking anonymously to CBC, said there are rumors of U.S. political pressure behind the move. Washington, the source said, has been offering quiet guarantees to automakers who bring production home. If that's true, then this isn't just about Jeep Compasses or assembly lines. It's about whether Canada just got played by its biggest ally. Meanwhile, in Ontario, Premier Doug Ford isn't mincing words either. "I'm not giving them a penny," Ford told reporters. They didn't meet the conditions, no milestones, no jobs, no deal. He confirmed the province had withheld funding for the Brampton facility, though Stellantis did receive $55 million for its Windsor plant. But Ford's frustration runs deeper than lost money. Brampton's auto plant isn't just a building. It's a symbol of Ontario's industrial power. Thousands of families depend on it. For decades, it was part of the backbone of Canada's manufacturing identity. And now, with one corporate press release, that identity might be slipping south of the border. Stellantis insists it still has plans for Brampton, plans it's discussing with the federal government. But that statement raises more questions than answers. What kind of plans? Will they still produce vehicles? Or just pack up and leave quietly once the headlines fade? Behind the scenes, Ottawa officials are scrambling. Joly's team, along with top bureaucrats in the Department of Industry, are reportedly drafting legal strategies in case the company refuses to back down. And yet, some insiders whisper that Ottawa's position might not be as strong as it seems. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. If Stellantis hasn't received the full incentive funding yet, they could argue that no contract was actually breached. In other words, the company might walk away without paying a cent, leaving Ottawa empty-handed and politically humiliated. That's why this moment feels like more than just a corporate dispute. It feels like a test of Canada's sovereignty in a global economy where powerful allies can turn into quiet adversaries overnight. And it raises an even bigger question. Did America just steal Canada's auto crown? For decades, Canada prided itself on being part of the North American auto triangle, alongside Michigan and Ohio. But since Trump's return to the White House, that balance has shifted. Billions in U.S. incentives, tariffs on Canadian exports, and a relentless America First policy are pulling manufacturing jobs back to American soil. Some insiders claim that Stellantis' move wasn't entirely voluntary. They say the White House, through back-channel talks, offered regulatory relief and preferential access to federal EV subsidies, on one condition: shift Compass production to Illinois. If that's true, then what's happening isn't just business strategy, it's industrial espionage, executed in plain sight under the banner of economic nationalism. Ottawa, of course, won't say that out loud, but the timing is suspicious. Trump's tariff announcement in April, followed by Stellantis' relocation plans in October, all perfectly aligned to benefit U.S. factories. Coincidence or calculation? Whatever the truth, one thing is clear: Canada's once thriving auto sector is at a crossroads. Volkswagen's EV battery project in St. Thomas is still moving forward, but even that deal has been shaken by Ottawa's new confrontation with Stellantis. Investors are getting nervous. Workers are anxious. So as the Brampton plant sits idle, its assembly lines cold and silent, the echoes of that letter, that warning from Ottawa, continue to grow louder. Respect your obligations, Joly wrote. But the real question is, who's really in control now? Stellantis? Trump's White House? Or a Canadian government struggling to hold onto its place in the global race for the future of the auto industry? As one senior official put it privately, if Stellantis leaves, it won't just be jobs that we lose. It'll be our pride. And in a world where politics and industry now move hand in hand, that might be the hardest loss of all.